Hello everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be looking at sewing this palazzo trousers. So let's go right into the tutorial. So basically we need our waist measurement, hip, crotch, tie, and then the full length of a palazzo. So this palazzo has a band, so we'll be taking 2 inches out from the top, and then I'll measure my waist to my hip, which is 9 inches. And so I'll measure it there. Then I'll measure my crotch, which is 13 inches. So this is basically taken by sitting on a flat surface, and then you measure your weight to that surface. Now I'll come down by 3 inches and then get my tie. That is my waist to my tie, and then I'll mark it. I'll then go to the side and just take 1 inch and slant it towards the hip. Now I'll take my hip measurement, which is 44 divided by 4, which is 11. And then I'm going to take my waist measurement, which is 32 divided by, which is going to be 8 plus 2. 32 divided by 4 is 8 plus 2. That is 1 inch for that and 1 inch for sewing allowance. Yeah. Now I also extended my hip measurement by 1 inch, so it became 12. For that's 1 inch for the sewing allowance. Now for my crotch, I'll be extending that line, but my crotch is the 11 inches. That is my hip divided by 4 again, so I got 2.75, and then I'll just curve it nicely. Now I'll take the measurement of my tie, which is 25 divided by 2, 12.5, and then I'll connect it to my crotch extension. I'll now take the measurements, the full measurement of my trousers, which is 40 inches, but I'll add 2 inches for sewing for the hemming at the down part, so my total length will be 42. So now I'm marking the allowance, the main one, and then the allowance is 2 inches at the down. And then for the down part, I'll use my hip measurement, which is 12 inches, and then I'll just mark it. Then I'll connect it to my thigh measurement with a straight ruler, and I'll just connect it with my thigh measurement nicely. So basically we are done with the front pattern, so we'll go ahead and then cut it out, and then use the front pattern to cut the back pattern. So basically this is a very easy tutorial. It's so easy and you can do it within a short period. So I will lay my fabric, and then now I extended my crotch line. Sorry, my camera moved a little faster. So for the front, I added 2 inches to the front, then I connected it, and then for the crotch I added the 2.75 again, but for the inner side I used 2 inches all along, and I connected it down to the hem. 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches. This is where we'll get our allowance, and it will make room for the butts too. And then there's a trick at the top. You know, our back is bigger, so we have to add 2 inches at the top so that it will be able to cover the back well for us. But then we'll just slant it to our waist measurement. It's the same waist, we are just slanting it and increasing the middle part of the back, and we'll just carefully slant it nicely to meet. Now I'll take my nipple to nipple measurements and then plus half an inch and then notch it to create my dart. And I'll do, when I cut the bigger one to the back one, I'll do the same thing for the back. Now I'm going in of my front by half an inch. You know, mostly this is done in pencil skirts too, because our front is somehow curved, and so it's, when you cut it a little bit, it will sit well on your tummy. So that's what I'm doing. It's just a small part of it. It's not going to alter the pants. It's not going to alter the pants. So I'll go ahead and then cut the back pants. I'll go ahead and cut the back pants. Remember, I added 2 inches to the inner thigh. For the crotch side, I added 2.75. That is my hip measurements divided by 4, divided by another 4. And I added 2 inches to the inner thigh. That is all you need. You don't need any other allowance again. And I promise you it will turn out well if you follow this tutorial. It will turn out very well. I was still cutting the back part of the pants. And then after doing that, getting the 2 sides ready, I was trying to position my camera well. It wasn't recording at the time. So I'll take it to the sewing machine and sew the crotch line for both sides and bring it back and come and show you. So here, after sewing it, this is how it looked like. I sewed the crotch parts, and then for both sides of the pants. Now I'll take my darts for both sides, and then I'll go ahead and sew right sides together with half an inch seam allowance for both sides and the inner thigh, and then come back and show you. So here I'm done, and I was trying to rip off this, and then I left about 5 inches at the side. I left 5 inches at the side of that will be for my zip. That will be for my zip. Then I'll go ahead and then bring the middle parts of the front and then the back together and take it to the sewing machine and sew it together. Now coming back, I still left that part open. Now the trousers, all sides have been sewn. Now remember I told you about the 2-inch band, so I went ahead and I got a 5 inches width band, and I used stiff to iron one part of it, and then I folded 0.5 inches inward, and I'm going to use it to sew the back. So I went ahead and I sewed and I came back. Now for the back to sit well, I cut an elastic band of about 3-4 inches, so that, and I push it, and then I push it to a distance of about 6 inches. Now after sewing it, I realized that the side was pointy, so I went in by 0.5 inches so that it can lay flat, and then I'll go ahead and hem my trousers by 2 inches. After hemming my trousers, this is how it came out. It came out very well. You can try it and see how it goes. Thank you. Like and subscribe and share my video so that more people can see it. Thank you. See you in my next tutorial.